Recording in progress.
Hello, mabuhay! This is Teacher Lourdes. And in this video, I will showcase some of the students' output for the first semester, academic year 2024-2025. Celebrating the hard work and dedication of our students during the first semester of academic year 2024-2025. The students' output demonstrates their creativity and academic growth throughout the first semester of the academic year 2024-2025. This showcase highlights of their unique projects, collaboration, and the knowledge gained from various subjects this semester. So now, let's begin sharing the students' output. Let me open my classroom. So for this school year, I will choose BSIT 83A and BSIT City 3A as I handled the subject environmental science in these two classes. So now let's have the student work. Okay. Let's have first the first lesson, which is definition of the basic terms in environmental science. And their first output is about creating a concept map. So let's look at some concept map submissions of the students. So this is the concept map of Miss Ayuman. Uh, there is the ecology, social sciences, physical sciences, chemistry, earth sciences, and life sciences. So this is the concept map made by Miss Alan May Ayuman, BSIT 3A, CT 3A. So let's have the next. Okay. So this is the concept map of Mr. Gianpaolo Barce. Okay. As you can see, uh, there is environment, ecology, effect of human to ecology, and 5 environmental factors. Okay, so this is the output of Mr. Barce. Okay, and this is the output of Mr. Chad Philip Barha for the first output in environmental science. So as you can see, he connected the terms environmentalism, environmental science, and ecology. In ecology, there's a relationship between abiotic and biotic factors. And the environmental science included earth science, physical science, and life sciences. And environmentalism is the study of the environment, protect against human activities such as deforestation, pollution, overpopulation, and overharvesting of resources. So this is a very good concept map by Mr. Barha. Okay. So this is the concept map of Miss Jaira Uzel Cabronero. So this is the concept map of Mr. Darrell Chavez. Okay, in his concept map, there is a division of the specific topics: pollution, human activities, and climate change. And there are examples and the connection between this. Okay, that's a good concept map also. Okay. When there are no files attached, it means they were not able to send it here, but they send this to my messenger. Okay. So this is the concept map of Ms. Tere Ann del Castillo. Okay. So now let's have the concept map of the other section, the BSIT 83A. concept map, the first output for the first lesson. So let's have this concept map by Mr. Arsen Vergara. Okay. So this is a very good concept map also by Mr. Arsen Vergara. Okay, so there is the environment and the interconnections between the climate change, biotic factors, ecology, abiotic factors, human activities, and environmental science and environmentalism. So in environmentalism, he included the rights, the law, and protest to protect the earth from human activities. Okay, so this is a good concept map also. So it also included the abiotic and the biotic factors. The abiotic, non-living things, and the biotic, the living things. Okay, this is a very good concept map also. Okay, so this is the concept of Mr. Ibanez. Okay. So this is the concept map of Mr. Artisanyo with some explanation above. Okay, so pollution, carbon dioxide mining, deforestation, and the illegal logging, hot weather, climate change, cold weather, and environmentalism, the protection of the land, water, air, and fire. Okay, so now let's have the second topic, which is about the scientific method. Okay, so let's look at some submissions by the students. So this is the output of Miss Jelly Amor. So she created a simple topic, the effect of light on plant growth. So okay, so he made a research. She made a research. So photosynthesis is by which plants convert light energy. So she tried putting the plant in a dark area and the other plant is in the area where there are lots of sunlight. So after 2 weeks, compare the plant. Okay. This is a simple experiment. After 2 weeks, compare the growth of plant A and plant B. Measure the final height of both plants and note any differences in their appearance. Okay. This is their research. This is a collaborative research by group. Okay. Okay. So let's have, when it is the file is not submitted, it means the student sent their output to my messenger. Okay, so let's have the output of PSIT 83A in the simple experiment using scientific method. So let's look. Okay. Let's look at the work of Mr. Ralph Vincent Vasquez.
Hello. Today we're going to experience water. The volume of water to turn to vapor. To do that, we need some water or hydrogen and a kettle. To heat up this to 100 degrees to figure out how much volume will be turned into a vapor or steam. Now, let's get started. As you can see here, when water is heated up to 100 Celsius, or example of this, it's become a vapor or steam. When a water of volumes is equivalent to 1 volumes of water, it's equivalent to a vapor to 1,676 times more to a water. As such, we will be able to create some inventions for our community. Example of this, of the invention that helped our community is the steam engine, thermal generators, and some other more. As such, When waters expand to a bigger volume, we will be able to harness it into much more to our community. Water, when become vapor, it become expanded to 1,000 times. In this experiment, we'll be able to conclude that vapor is much more smaller when it's a liquid, and when the water become vapor, it's much more expansive and more have volume than it before. Such, thank you for your attention, and this is my experiments for the volume of water when become vapor. Thank you.
So thank you, Mr. Rob Basket. So there is no file attached in the Google Classroom. It means they submitted the output to my messenger.
Kumain na ako. Kumain na ako, Min.
So that is the experiment of Mr. Geoffrey Rosas about buoyancy. Okay. So let's look at the output of BSITCPA in the scientific method, wherein they conducted a simple experiment. Okay. Let's look at the work of Miss Annalyn Talan.
Good day everyone. So as you can see, I have 2 cups of fresh water and the salt. So for the first cup of water, I will pour some salt and stir it well. And here, as you can see, I have 1 piece of egg. I will put this in a second cup of water, which is fresh water, and as you can see, it sinks. And I'll try this to put in a water with salt, and as you can see, it floats. So to explain this experiment, it is all about the density of water. Water is denser when it contains salt. When you add salt to water, it breaks into sodium and chlorine ions. These charged particles change the forces between water molecules. This means water gets heavier when the level of salt in it goes up. That's why many objects that usually sink in fresh water change their behavior when it's salt water and they float. Just like the egg floats in a water with salt. So that's all. Thank you.
Okay, that's a good experiment by Miss Talan. Let's have this experiment by Edu. So as you can see in the picture, Edu mixed C2 and gin. Okay, so this is his a simple experiment, the step by step. And this is the result. Okay. So he uploaded some pictures. Okay, so this is the step by step of the experiment. So, yeah. And my comment, very good experiment bago tagay. Okay. So this, we have discussed this. Okay.
May mga cellphone ako.
Okay, so now let's have the output for output number 3.
Ay, kumain ka?
So output number 3 for the lesson okay, so let's look at some of the outputs. Okay. So this is the output of Miss Miranda. Okay. So let's look. Oh, this is not the. Let's look at the output of BSIT CT3A, output number 3.
Kala ko
Okay.
hindi ka papayun. Dito. Mami, pinanggal niya.
Good day everyone, I am Aline Oman from BSIT CT3A. So my understanding about feedback loop is all about positive and negative effects
Pag nabukas na to,
Earth climate. So
pag nabukas na
the global warming creates changes. It's either
Lupus boy! Wait lang, hantayin natin.
speed up warming or slow down warming. So the speed up warming
Ang tagal to.
it's all about
Yung
for example the factories
Ako na.
like the fuel, the smoking or the air pollution like vehicle can create and can increase the temperature of the atmosphere. So it can cause speed up warming.
Okay, so this is the output 3 about feedback loop.
Good afternoon, madam. This is my reflection about your topic, the lesson 3. Feedback loop. So feedback loop, these are the process where output of a system is feedback into the system as input. So there have two different kinds of feedback loop, which is the positive feedback loop and the negative feedback loop. So let's go in positive loop. So this occurs when output of a system enhance or amplifies the change occurring into the system. So this is the example. This is my own made. Okay. So when ice start to melt and break, earth will start to shake. Less ice means heat absorbed. The warming grow, then transform. The ocean heat up, more ice will go. The cycle spin continue to grow. So melting ice makes warming speed. It fills itself when growing need. Okay, so let's go in negative feedback loops. So this occurs when the output of a system counter change, promoting stability. So again, this is my own example. When things get hot and rise too high, water vapor start to fly. Cloud form up and shade the ground, cooling off the heat, turning down.
Okay, so
As the heat goes up and tries to stay, the cloud will come and block the way. This cooling up to stabilize and balance the temp rise.
okay, very
And
good.
that is my report, and thank you po.
Very good, Mr. Barce, because you made a simple poem about the topic feedback loop. Okay. So now let's have output 4. Okay. Output 4 to output 9, the students are required to explain what they have learned from lesson 4 to lesson 9, and they submitted it in hard copy. So let's now have lesson 10 output. Okay. So let's listen to the output of Miss Ayuman.
Good day everyone, I am Alin May Auman from BSIT City 3A, and today I will gonna discuss my learnings about population growth. I learned that population growth is the increase in number of people living in a particular area. Population growth can have both positive and negative impacts depending on how it aligns with the resources and social infrastructure. Population growth have growth models: the exponential growth and logistic growth. The exponential growth assumes no limit resources leading to unchecked population increase, while logistic growth accounts for environmental limits resulting in population stabilization as it reaches carrying capacity. There are 4 basic processes of population changes: natality, mortality, immigration, and immigration. Natality and immigration increase population density, while mortality and immigration decrease population density.
Thank you, Miss Ayuman. And then let's have another one.
So, what I have learned in lesson 10, principles of population growth. So, based on my paranormal, mukhang normal, kinetic, magnetic, pandemic, of institution, of 69 position, of combination, transition, rotation, addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, transformation, skill, bones, I realized that this video touched my heart, my soul, my bones, my toes, my knees, my shoulder, my head. So immigration means, think of it like Filipino. Filipino go to a country, Japan. They just go there to immigrate. Ano lang sila. So emigration naman is M-E-E. Emigration naman is Filipino ka and you go to a country, Japan, and para pumunta ka sa Japan para maging isang Japanese people. Tinanggal mo na yung pagka-Pilipino mo. So, yun ang emigration. So, sa exponential growth naman is exponential growth goes faster and faster over time. It means exponential growth grows faster and faster because it multiplies rather instead of just adding. So example that is day 1 2 2. So day 2 4 and day 3 8, day 5 8 16, so on. And population growing is when it has mga people, plants, and animals. They basta yung nanganganak. So ang dahilan kung bakit dumadami, population growing is because the birth rates goes high. Dahil birth rates may daming individuals na nanganganak. Kaya dumadami people growing.
So now let's have the lesson 11 output. Okay. So Aliyah uploaded her output in YouTube.
Hello, Madam. So once again, this is Ali, and this is my video reflection and the things that I have learned about the topic that you have discussed on your channel. It is all about the biotic potential. Start with the ability of a population of a particular species to propagate under ideal environmental conditions is called the biotic potential. While the biotic potential can be affected by the factors that is called the environmental resistance. So the environmental resistance that have state is about the biotic and abiotic factors that affect the population growth of a specific organism. Also, the biotic potential has 4 types. First is the reproductive potential. Next is the survival potential. Third is the nutritive potential and also the protective potential. We also learned that reproductive potential is the capacity of an individual or a species in a certain area or community to reproduce and gives offspring. And it is also refers to the natality of that offspring of that organism or species. Next is the survival potential. So it is the surviving capacity of an organism or species to up with the situation or the crisis that experiencing by the organism or the species. Next is the nutritive potential. Nutritive potential is naturally on how or refers to how the species or organism consume the nutritions that needed from the food that they eat. So next is the protective potential. This potential is the ability of the organism or species to protect itself from the dynamic forces. Oh, thank you po.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ali. So let's now have another output from students about biotic potential. Let's have Mr. Carlo.
So, good day, Madam. This is my understanding of Lesson 11 on Environmental Science about biotic potential. So, biotic potential is the maximum growth potential of a population under ideal conditions with no limiting factors, and it can be divided into reproductive, survival, nutritive, and protective potential. So this means that we could imagine, let's imagine a species like, let's say, rabbits, living in a perfect world with endless food, no predators, and lots of space. In this situation, they could reproduce as much as possible, and none of their babies would die. This is their biotic potential, the maximum rate they could grow. So next is environmental resistance. Environmental resistance is the full expression of an organism's biotic potential. Meaning, environmental resistance is like a set of limits that can keep populations from growing unchecked. It's the difference between the theoretical potential of an organism and the actual population size. So these two, so the relationship between biotic potential and environmental resistance determines a population carry capacity, which is the maximum population that a given environment can support for an indefinite period or on a sustainable basis. So, carrying capacity describes the maximum population capacity of a species within a particular ecosystem, given the resistance factors and resources of that ecosystem. In simple terms, carrying capacity is the point where the population size is in equilibrium with the available resources and environmental resistance. So if a population exceeds carrying capacity, it will likely experience a decline due to resource scarcity, disease, or other factors. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carlo Rossi. So now let's have lesson 12. Okay. Let's go get from BSIP 80. So, lesson 12. So, lesson 12 output is movie review about what happened to Monday, which was aired on 2017. So, this is a movie review by Mr. Vergara. So, what happened to Monday is a 2017 dystopian sci-fi thriller directed by Tammy Vercola, showcasing Numi Rapace in a multifaceted role as seven identical sisters navigating a world constrained by one child policy. Okay, so this is his movie review. Okay. Tommy Vercola's direction presents a visually engaging experience with some well-staged action sequences. Okay, so the underlying themes of identity choice and authoritarianism provide an interesting commentary on the human condition and societal norms. However, these themes often remain on the surface, overshadowed by a convoluted plot riddled with cliche and logical inconsistencies. Critics have pointed out significant plot holes that detract from the overall experience, such as the lack of logic in the governmental policies portrayed. So that is one output. This is another output by Mr. Vasquez. So his comment about the movie is that the world building of this film is interesting. It presents a bleak future with advanced surveillance and ethical dilemmas related to population control. Although the action sequences are more intense and well paced, but some plot points make it less believable, and sometimes the story veers into predictable territory. Despite the shortcomings, What Happened to Monday manages to maintain suspense and engage viewers with thought-provoking premise. The mix of action, mystery, and family dynamics makes this watch appealing to fans of dystopian science. Okay. Yun na kay Ate Bay. So now let's have another lesson. Lesson 12. Okay. So let's have this. Okay. Lesson 13. Let's have lesson 13. Okay. So there's no lesson 13 here. It means that they submitted the hard copy of their output. So let's have the lesson 14. Okay. Lesson 14 output is also a concept map. So concept map about the global and regional environmental issues. So this is the output of Miss Ayuman, wherein she had global issues, climate change, biodiversity, deforestation, ocean pollution, global warming, water scarcity, and the regional environmental issues included air pollution, water pollution, desertification, and deforestation, overfishing, water pollution, urbanization, and habitat loss. So, this is another concept map by Mr. Balse. Okay. So if they have no files attached, it means that they have submitted output to my messenger. So let's see let's have the output of Mr. Roden Coron.
Good morning, our instructor, Madam Lourdes Maniscan, and I am Rujan Bikurad, Best IT City GA. I'm here to discuss you about environmental issues, that most common problems or issues in our society. Environmental issues. Let's talk about what is environmental issues. Environmental issues are any such issues created due to human activities and cause harm to the environment. Environmental issues are interconnected. That means one issue accelerates the other. Example, water pollution. Accelerate the rate of air pollution causes global warming. However, there's solutions against environmental issues, such as afforestation, ensuring safe and sufficient water, then most of all protecting our health conditions by preventing differences pollutions. Implementing 3Rs, which is the reuse, reduce, and recycle. It is a vital role on environment for preventing against climate change. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Corod. So now let's have the lesson 15. Okay, lesson 15, output. Okay. Let's have another. If there is no attachment, it means that the files are sent to my messenger. So let's have output number 15 about sustainable development. Okay. So this is the output of Mr. Vasquez.
Okay, dito naman po tayo sa sustainable development. According to the video, may tatlong pillar ang sustainable development. Ito ang the pillar of economic, environment, and social to integrated to us. Ngayon, the global goals for this ahead have 17. Kagaya po ng poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality educations, clean water and sanitations, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry innovation and infrastructure, reduce inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, gender inequalities, responsible consumption and protections, climate actions, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institution, partnership for the goal. Ito po ang ating the global goals o yung 17 global goals. Maano lang po natin ito ay, example po nito ay ang sustainable energy, di ba? Ang example ng sustainable energy will commit with wind energy, solar energy, sustainable forestry, green space, efficient water fixtures, sustainable constructions, crop rotations. Ang sustainable development po ay pinaunahan ng United Nations membership state noong 2015. Okay, na-explain ko na or pinakita ko na sa inyo ang sustainable development. Yan naman po ang comment ko. Ang sustainable development may tatlong pira. Alam na natin yan. Economic, environment, and social. At saka yung 15 goals. However, this 15 goal is not, I will say, not utopian. Or sinasabi ko ay hindi sila perfect. Dahil ang utopian way ay parating perfect. Dahil first of all, ang way na ito ay they have to first convince the people na mag-ano tayo ng sustainable development kagaya ng renewable energy. Example po ng dahil ang renewable energy for now ay too expensive. Kagaya po ng Tesla na car battery at saka The problem with today is that renewable energy is the cost. Kaysa ngayon po dun sa ibang kagaya ng gas, mas mura. So, maano lang po dito sa sustainable development, it needs to develop more for our new generations. Not now, but it will take years before it completely happen. But sustainable development still need time. It's called development. And one more thing, ang tao naman po ang pag-iisip ay hindi natin malalaman to dahil pabago-bago. Dahil kagaya po nito, quality of educations. Yung number 4 yun. Quality of education ay nakakonekta yan sa politics. So, kung ang politics ng isang gobyerno sa isang bansa ay hindi gusto ang sustainable development, hindi ito magaganap or it will lower the chances it to be sustainable. So, yun lang po sa ko. So, sustainable development still need time to develop and to convince the people. Even us, yes, us, we're student. So, mas maganda magpaano ito. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Okay, that's the output of Mr. Vasquez, and that's very good realization and reflections. So now let's have another output from CT about lesson 15. Okay, let's have Miss Ella De Vera.
Good evening, Madam. In this video, I will state what I have learned. And sustainable development is an approach to economic development that doesn't compromise the environment and resources for future generations. It involves balancing three pillars: economic, social, and environmental development. We need to limit human's impact, replace use resources, minimize pollution, and use natural resources wisely. In this video, it also discussed the
Okay. So now let's have the last lesson, the lesson 16. The last lesson, Agenda 21. So let's have Mr. Eranista.
So, good day, Madam. This is my activity on lesson page 16. Agenda 21 is a comprehensive plan of action developed by a United Nations to promote sustainable development globally. Adopted at Earth Summit in 1992. It addresses critical issues such as poverty, environmental protection, and social equity. The importance of Agenda 21 lies in the holistic approach to sustainability, ensuring.
So, our Wi-Fi is lagging. So now let's have the output of Mr. Vasquez in the last topic. So this is his output.
Okay, ayon sa video ni Madam, nagpo-focus naman ito sa environmental. Ang inano naman natin ay ang Agenda 21. Ito ay nag-aano sa United Conference on Environment and Development o UNCED. Nagpo-focus sila sa pag-improvise ng plano para ma-integrate sa atin ang environmental, social, economic na magpapaano sa atin sa 21st century. Ito ay para mag-promote ng renewable resources or energy na hindi mapapano sa ating pollutant sa ating atmosphere, kung saan kagaya ng coal at saka ng nuclear. Ito ay nagpapaano sa ating environment, nagpapalala, kaya nagiging ekes. Ang renewable naman pinukas nila ay kagaya ng wind turbine. Wind turbine, solar, at saka yung kagaya sa may vulkan na geothermal. Kung hindi ako nagkakamali, ayon rin nila sa kanila magkaroon ng deforestations. Ang Agenda 21 naman sa atin, ito ay nagsimula ng Agenda 21 noong 1990. Or pagpapaano nga pala sa 21, ibig sabihin nun ay 21st century. Sa local agenda ng 21 or LA 21, sa Pilipinas naman ay Philippines Agenda 21 or PA 21. Okay, to summarize yung lahat ng mga sinabi ko, ang Agenda 21 ay para sa 21st century o sa ngayon. Ito ay para ma-prevent ang ating environment na masira. Sa atin naman ng problema nito dahil para ma-prevent ang ating environment, tayo na renewable resources. Ibig sabihin, napapaulit-ulit natin nang hindi nawawala. Kagaya lang po ito ng solar na energy. At saka yung sinabi ko, geothermal. Pero ang problema nga nito po, ang mga tao hindi po masyadong alam o ginagawa nila ito dahil sa grid. Kagaya na lang po sa China kung saan isa ang number 1 na pollutant sa ating mundo ngayon. Tama po yan. Pero ang pinakangano po natin dito, muna, balik po tayo sa Agenda 21, to prevent our world from destructions caused by ourselves or the humanity. Yun lang po ang ating dito sa Agenda 21 at thank you po.
Okay, so that's a very good reflection by Mr. Vasquez. So, thank you and mabuhay. That's some of the students' output for the first semester in academic 2024-2025 in environmental science. So, thank you and mabuhay.